Am I the asshole here for my response to my boyfriend's ultimatum over audiobooks? My boyfriend and I have been together for around 3 years, and we've had a pretty easygoing relationship. No big fights or anything, until now, which is why I'm questioning myself so much. So I listen to audiobooks, not erotic ones, though I do partake in audio-only porn sometimes, because, as becomes important later, I have a thing for nice voices. But somehow, someone just reading smut off a page feels weird for me to listen to. No judgment to anyone else, of course, just not my thing. My boyfriend has recently gotten a bug up his ass about me listening to them, especially when he's home, even though I always use headphones and do my best not to disturb him. Also, before anyone says it, my Audible account comes directly out of my own bank account. He has no reason to think that it'll affect his finances. Anyway, he only ever gave little snide remarks until the latest time, so I let it go. Most recently, I had been making us dinner and cleaning up behind myself as I did it, and because he was playing video games, and I get bored doing those kinds of things without something else to think about, I turned on my favorite audiobook and picked up where I had been listening the week before. I didn't realize that he was in the kitchen until he jerked the cord on my headphones and asked if I was doing it again. I asked what he was talking about, and he just sighed and said that he needed to talk to me. We sat down, and I'll admit I was pretty pissed that he had jerked on my headphones and not super willing to listen to anything right then and there. Another reason why I might be an asshole. He said that it really bothered him when I listened to audiobooks from a man's perspective because he knows about my voice thing and that it makes him uncomfortable. I asked why, and he said that he couldn't get it out of his head that I was thinking sexual things about the characters and that, along with the romantic elements, made him really upset and felt almost like I wasn't fully committed to him. I asked if he realized I was listening to a book for teens written by a literal Mormon, and that none of the books that I listened to have smut. He said that it didn't matter, and started getting angry again, which just made me angrier, and he dropped the ultimatum that he wanted to stop or else we would need to break up. I was so pissed at this moment that I just shrugged and said, "Gladly. The minute that you stop watching porn, I'll never touch any of it again." Which had him pissed because he claimed that he never said anything about porn, only the romantic and sexual parts of the books that I listened to. I said that if he was allowed to make ultimatums of favorite pastimes, why can't I? Then I asked if he would rather give up video games, since that's closer to what audiobooks mean to me. He ended up just saying to effing forget it and went to bed, but has been pissed at me since. I talked to my friends about the situation and got mixed answers, so I wanted to try with strangers as well. In the comments, Belcy says, "This is a big red flag to me. Is he so insecure that he can't stand the idea of you listening to another man? You weren't even listening to anything provocative when he did this, and he had that kind of reaction. Where is all his anger coming from? The fact that he dropped an ultimatum, books for F's sake, or breaking up, is insane to me. This seems like such an odd thing for him to want to have control over. You're wearing headphones, not listening to it on speakerphone, and you are minding your own business, and he has the audacity to be upset that you're doing that? Personally, I would cut ties. But if you feel like he's a good partner to you in other aspects, and he isn't controlling about other things that you do, i.e., what you wear, who you hang out with, etc., then maybe try talking it out when he is calm." And OP says, "He did try to explain that he felt as if I reacted to the romantic parts in ways that I don't react to him, which almost made sense, but then all I can think of is, yeah, of course I do. This kind of romantic thing doesn't exist in real life, and I don't expect it to, but to hear about it is enough to make me blush or laugh because it's cute. I've never expected him to be an over-the-top romantic. I don't think that I would enjoy it in real life. It would more than likely overwhelm me. But I do like to hear about it, I guess. This part makes me feel a little bit bad because at the time I was so angry about the headphone pulling. I don't know why it set me off so bad. No one has ever done it to me before, but for some reason it had me pissed. I couldn't even react to it like I should have. I honestly maybe should have asked to wait, the more I think about it. Belzy replies, he put his hands on you, girl. He's getting mad over fictional characters and stories. I'd think long and hard about what you want to do going forward. Wailing Wonder says, he's crazy, and anyone that tells you otherwise is crazy. You were cooking and cleaning while he was playing. If he is so insecure about a random guy reading a book, then maybe he could have been in there working on dinner with you. You were being neglected, so of course you got bored. Note, sure, it's okay for one person to work while the other one chills, as long as it's not always the same person, and as long as it works for the relationship. He could have kept you company. He could have been the voice in your ear. He could have fought his insecurity by coming up behind you and kissing your neck and taking your mind off the book. Something sexy. But he decided the best choice was to be as unsexy as possible and aggressively jerk your headphones and whine. You can see the red flags, right, OP? You don't need us, right? Not the asshole. And OP says, I usually cook for us. He can't cook worth a damn. And I enjoy it, so I do that. He does other chores, though. I hate doing anything in the bathroom, but he doesn't mind, so anything to do with that is his. And he takes care of the garbage and the car. I mostly handle anything in the kitchen and laundry and such. I wish he would do something like that, but he's just not spontaneous or really romantic. I don't mind it, really. Most guys aren't, and he's great in other aspects. When it comes to red flags, I didn't think of it in that way, but I can tell you that it certainly made my temper spike in a way that it hasn't since I was in high school. And Wailing Wonder replies, I'm not using Reddit's favorite word, run, but he was acting crazy. My point wasn't really about the division of labor. I didn't know what that was between you two, but more about what he could do to try to overcome his insecurities and to give you a chance to show him that you are fully committed. If he lets his insecurities consume him and takes it out on you, then that's just going to get worse and more toxic over time. Maybe this argument will end up blowing over, and you'll forget it and never deal with this problem again. But if you are my in-real-life friend, then I'd be a bit worried for you. He needs to figure out how to deal with these feelings and how to communicate properly. And OP says, that's fair. I do try very hard to show my commitments to him, but there may be some wires crossing in our communication. I'm an acts of service person, more than anything, including words. But maybe I can try something else. If he needs to hear me say the things that I'm feeling out loud more often than I do now, then I can do that. I don't mind changing tactics to make him more secure in the relationship if that's what he needs. I don't mean to make him feel insecure. The more I think about my reaction, the more guilty I feel, because at first it was, how dare you try to take things away from me? But now it's more, sure, that was a shitty way to bring it up, but it sounds like he's been really bothered and I just got defensive and mean instead of listening to him at all. But then I get mad about the jerking my headphones thing again. I really don't know why, but that shit made my blood boil. It's complicated, and it's hard for me to know what to do. And Wailing Wonder says, just keep in mind that you can't overcome his securities for him. You can help, sure, but he's got to do most of the work if he wants to grow as a person. I do think that his actions of yanking the headphones out were worrying. Because that to me is definitely an indication of a escalation. If I were to put myself in OP's shoes and my partner just yanks the headphones out of my ears aggressively like that, that feels like an attack. I don't think that's something you do to someone that you care about, especially over something as minor as this. I can see, specific cases being acceptable, like if they're about to walk into traffic, they're not paying attention, I'm going to yank the headphones out and be like, what are you doing? But in this case, when it's just completely to do with his insecurities, and then everything else OP has said about their relationship, I don't know. I see a lot of red flags, and I don't think OP is the problem here, so I'm going to go with not the asshole. And now, onto the update, about 2 months later. So it's been a while, and I didn't think that I would update, because the original update would have been mostly us talking and working things out, agreeing that whenever he felt insecure, he could tell me, and I could focus my attention on him for a while. It worked really great. Well, until I found out that he had been fucking his coworker, that is. I don't have the details and I don't want the details, but he admitted to it in the end. So he did it. And that's enough. He wanted to work it out and apologized, begged for a second chance, but honestly, the idea that he said a word to me about an audiobook about Edward frickin' Cullen while he was getting strange on the side? It killed any opportunity for forgiveness that I had inside of me. It was so ridiculous that I laugh thinking about it now, and it's been a month since we broke up. Like, it makes me feel insane. It is so funny. He was yelling at me for listening to a book about Mormon vampires while he was cheating on me. I cannot make this shit up. 100 points to whoever said projection the first time I posted. I can't remember if it was a comment or a message, but you were right. I wish I had a cookie. Thanks for the help anyway. Even if the relationship is a bust now, I really do appreciate you all. In the comments, Feral 2021 Energies says, I'm so glad she didn't give him a chance and kicked his ass to the curb like it belongs. Now she has more time and money to get more audiobooks. One thing I've learned, when a guy is cheating or wants out of a relationship, they start a fight, or try to, regarding some weird shit. No Names Where says, quote, I didn't realize that he was in the kitchen until he jerked the cord on my headphones. Should have broken up right at that point. No further discussion was needed. Exactly. She kept saying how she couldn't understand why it set her off so bad, but the reason is because it's extremely aggressive, disrespectful, and infuriating. What an absolute dick. Yeah, like I said, unless there's a very good reason to be doing so, I think that is also grounds for just breaking off the relationship there, especially if it is as unequal as OP described in further comments there. What a piece of shit he was, and OP is so much better off without. Our next post is by user BlueberryPie1109, titled, Am I the asshole for walking out when I saw my ex-boyfriend? Okay, so I'm 21, female, and my ex-boyfriend is 20. 3 days ago, my best friend invited me to celebrate Thanksgiving with her and our other friends. We were able to invite partners, siblings, etc. My older sister, 24, arrived before I did. So a little over a while later, she texted me, but I was driving, and my phone was on Do Not Disturb, so I couldn't read her message. Plus, I don't want to risk getting a ticket. And also, before I left my house, she called me and said that she drove to my best friend's house an hour earlier because best friend needed help with something, and I don't know what it was. Well, when I finally arrived to my best friend's house, I parked in the driveway and got out, and I made sure to double check if I had locked my car or not before I headed inside. The door was unlocked, and I didn't need to knock because my best friend says that we aren't strangers and that she trusted me most. Aw, sweet, but either way, I still texted her to let her know that I had arrived, and she reacted with a thumbs up. I opened the door, walked inside, and closed it behind me. I walked inside the living room, and no one was there. I then went to the dining room, and everyone was sitting there while some were setting up the table, placing plates, forks, spoons, napkins, etc. However, when I took a few steps inside the dining room, I saw my ex sitting on the side of the table where I could clearly see his face, and my brain really said, "Oh, hell no." And without thinking for a second, I turned around, opened the front door, and walked out. I still had my shoes on, so I was quick to leave. I thought that no one saw me, but when I got into my car and started the engine, I heard my best friend shouting my name. I know this might sound rude, but I didn't even glance at her and drove off immediately. I got a few texts from my best friend, but I didn't hear any notifications because I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. But when I did, I was already home and received like 10 plus messages from her, and they were all pretty much the same. Hey OP, why did you leave so suddenly? Dinner hasn't started yet and you're already gone. Where did you go? Did something urgent happen? Why did you leave? She's acting as if my ex wasn't there, like, girl, was I being paranoid or was my ex really there? I just left her unread and haven't spoken to her or anyone else yet. Even today when she called me, I didn't answer. The thing is, my sister. I forgot about her, and I haven't heard from her yet. I did text her before I wrote this post, but she hasn't responded yet, so in the meantime, I'll be waiting for her response. Oh, and the message that she had sent me said, "Yo, OP, your ex just arrived with my best friend's name's brother. Did you know that he was coming?" I responded with no. Edit, the dining room and the living room are in front of each other. For example, dining room on the left, living room on the right. If any of you have any other questions, feel free to ask. In the comments, Marathon Rabbit says, "Just be open about it. My ex was there and I just noped out. Figured no one needed that drama." OP says, "I want to tell her about him, but I didn't know what came over me that made me shut up. But I did text her today and she hasn't responded yet." Fun Scene says, "One would think that your best friend would know that you wouldn't be comfortable being around your ex. Your best friend's brother is the asshole for bringing him, and frankly, your best friend is a bit of an asshole for not making him leave, and then pretending like she didn't know why you left. She absolutely knew why you left, and a real best friend would have warned you." And OP says, "I didn't think of this, to be honest. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna have a talk with her eventually." This is not a friend. She knew that he was there and didn't warn you. It doesn't matter if she invited him, she probably did, or if she knew someone else brought him, she knew. She knew that you broke up and wouldn't want to spend a holiday with him. She set you up to create drama. She is not a friend or a good person. And OP says, "Thank you. I'm starting to think about it now, and it's actually quite confusing to me. She never hid anything from me before, but now that she did, I feel like there's something wrong." I don't think you're the asshole for walking out. I do agree that your best friend was setting up some drama and is acting dumb in this situation. I'd love to know her side of the story and what she thinks she was doing, but I think she's going to lie to you and omit details so that she looks like she's innocent here. But I don't know how she could just ignore the fact that the ex was there and pretend like everything should be hunky-dory. I don't know, strange, not the arsehole OP. And now, onto the update, 2 months later. OP rehashes the entire story here, but basically she goes over a text message that she sent to her friend 2 to 3 days later. So, I only responded about 2 to 3 days later because I couldn't believe what had just happened. In the text I said, "Hey blank, why didn't you tell me that blank, my ex, was gonna be there? In fact, why would you or anyone invite him knowing damn well what he did to me in the past?" Welp, she didn't know what to say to that and left me on scene for a couple of hours before texting me back, apologizing and saying that she didn't know that he was coming. I told her that that was bullshit and that she knew damn well that he was gonna be there. She still hadn't answered me yet. Onto the update. Sorry to disappoint, but nothing much happened. After I sent that text, she never bothered to reply. Before I even knew it, she blocked me. Why? I don't know. Maybe she's hiding something from me. I know that I shouldn't be saying that and suspecting her, considering us still being best friends, but I can't help it. I've never heard from her or seen her again. I tried asking our mutual friends about her, and they all said that they didn't hear anything from her ever since that day. Yes, I told them what happened and how it ended. Some girls even said that she had blocked them on the same day that she blocked me. Now the only one who possibly knows where she's at and or why she isn't responding to anyone is her brother. But I don't feel comfortable texting him, and I don't think that I have the courage to. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been nearly 2 months, and I'm still blocked. I'll post again if something happens, but for now, I'll just continue enjoying life with my boyfriend. If anyone has any questions to ask, please do. I don't bite. I like reading y'all's opinions, especially the ones who offer advice. Thanks for reading. In the comments, Harvey Snake says, "Either your ex is now dating your ex-best friend, or this was some stupid attempt to get you back together with him. Sounds like your sister stayed. You may want to ask her how things looked between the ex and best friend." And OP says, "Damn, that first line sounds harsh. I've never experienced such thing, and I don't ever want to, but I'd take your word for it. My sister said that he just stayed there chatting with the others, but nothing more. Your sister will know if he is dating your ex-friend. I would just keep asking her until she comes clean. Not wanting to know would be the best flex, actually. Who cares what those two nobodies are up to? Life is good with boyfriend and no complications. No Use says, she's dating your ex, not the asshole. Also, your ex has found your post, sadly. OP says, that's creepy, not gonna lie, but I don't care if it was either my ex or my best friend. I said what I said, and if they don't like it, they are free to do so. Yup, former boyfriend is dating your ex-best friend. She's not your friend, and nothing of value was lost. Why would she invite her friend to Thanksgiving? To rub it in her face or something? That's psycho behavior. I say good riddance, and it's a good thing that she basically removed herself from the friend group. She took her own trashy self out to the bin. Yeah, some people just like starting drama like that, and it's best to just avoid them, ignore them, and stay away from them. To me, it reads as though the ex-best friend just wanted the attention of a dramatic blow-up. And the worst thing that can happen in a situation for them is that they don't get the reaction they want. So I'm glad that OP immediately left and didn't give them that reaction. Good job, thumbs up. Still not the asshole. Our next post is by user GoldGoal, titled, would I be the asshole here if I disown my parents after my mum refused to take care of me after I give birth? So I, 28 female, am 30 weeks pregnant with my first child and am about to move to another state. And my mum has this thing where she takes care of my siblings when they give birth until they recover. She has done it for my older sister and my brother's wife, so I thought that she would do the same thing for me too. But a week ago, she told me that she couldn't because it's too far away. We got into a fight about the whole thing, and I told her to get out of my house, and now we are not talking. Before you judge me and say that my mum isn't obligated to take care of me, I will tell you that it isn't about my mum taking care of me. It was never about that. I am the one child in the family who nobody really cares about. My parents always claim that they love and treat us all equally, but man, is it obvious that they love me a little bit less than the others. I always thought that maybe I'm adopted and that's why they don't care about me that much. Well, I'm wrong because I'm 100% theirs. It is always about how my other siblings are doing or how mum and dad are suffering, but it is never about me. It was never about me from the beginning. I am rarely celebrated, even if it's supposed to be my day. My birthdays? They are rarely celebrated because mum and dad forgot, or they just threw everything in the house and called it a birthday. High school graduation party? Nope. My parents have always wasted a lot of money for my big brother's college graduation party, so they can't do that, but they'll make sure to make it up to me. Do you think that ever happened? I'll give you a minute or two. If you guessed no, then congrats, you guessed right. Yay! They shared the wedding expenses of my siblings' wedding, but since my husband came from a good family, they don't have to share the wedding expenses. Not my words. I have always been the therapist who listens to my mum and dad's rough day, or the one who needs to help my mum because my older siblings have a lot of schoolwork to do, or because my younger siblings are too young to do that kind of work. They always tell me that I'm a good daughter, but I am never the one who they brag about to their friends. I did everything in my power to make them proud, but my achievements will always be below my siblings. I've tried to talk to them about how I feel multiple times before, but the only thing I get is a hard scolding about how I was always getting spoiled. I hated my life until I got out of that house, but I never had the courage to let go of them, thinking that they would change. Well, my mum just proved me wrong. Mind you that my older sister lives a whole ass ocean away from us, but mum decided that taking a 10+ hour flight to another continent twice was not hard at all. But all of a sudden, taking a 4-hour ride to my home was too much? Especially when I'm in a place where I don't know anyone except my husband. I am so fucking tired of them putting everyone else above me. So I'll make things right between us until I leave, because I don't want to end things on a bad note. And when I get to my new house, I'll just cut all contact between us. I don't think that I have the energy to do all of this crap anymore, and besides, I have my lovely husband with me. So I'll be alright and will build myself a new family where I am truly appreciated and loved for who I am. Note, I am the third out of 5 children. My younger siblings are twins. In the comments, Nana Leone says, "Not the asshole. Yes, I agree with you. Make nice with your mum while you're visiting this time, and minimize contact when you get back to your own home. It could be that your mother wants you to beg and plead, 'Oh, mummy, pretty please come help me, I need you.' But my reaction is, F that game playing. Put your energy into your husband and build a new support network where you'll live now." Not the asshole. Put them on a strict information diet. Stay off socials, inform your husband and his family that you want nothing to be posted on social media. Do not let them know when the baby is born or when you go into labor. Do not answer the phone, respond to email, texts, etc. Put them on a ban list at the hospital if you have to. Gather more evidence of them singling you out, and then when asked by others, you give them the full story. Maybe shame will cure them. Not the asshole. It sounds like your parents have taken you for granted, and now they're doing the same thing to your child? No. Stand proud of your decision. The people you allow in your child's life should be the people who value them. Not the asshole. I wouldn't bother to make things right with her. Just leave the ball in her court. You didn't do anything wrong, so you aren't the one who needs to make things right. If you have a good relationship with your mother-in-law, ask her to come help out when the baby is born. Congratulations on realizing things will never change with them. It'll actually give you some peace. Unfortunately, I speak from experience. Build your own family, because that's what I did. Congratulations on the baby. It's insane that she'll fly to another continent twice, but won't drive 4 hours. I don't blame you, Opie. I don't blame you for cutting them off entirely if you do that. As they say, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So you go start that new covenant, Opie. And maybe, just maybe, shame will cure them, but I think it's unlikely. I think they do deserve a chance to make things right if you have an honest conversation with them and you put your heart on the table, but I don't know. At this point, I don't think they care enough to change, even when told what they are doing is wrong. Not the asshole. And now, onto the update, 2.5 months later. Hello. First, I would like to thank everyone for their kind advice. I was honestly shocked when I saw all of these messages. I really appreciate it. A lot has happened since my last post. I tried to call my parents, but they blocked, and I couldn't reach them, but I was determined on getting the closure that the younger version of me wanted. So I called my older brother, and I asked him if we could meet up and talk about the situation. He told me that he won't meet up with me after what I've done to our mother, and he berated me, saying that I was an ungrateful person and that Mum is in a lot of stress and pain because of me. I told him that it wasn't fair for him to just assume that I was the villain and that he couldn't even understand my point of view because they didn't treat him like they treated me my whole life. He knew that they treated me like their personal chef, maid, and therapist for years, but they couldn't even give me the love and attention that I wanted for once in my whole damn life. He basically screamed at me through the phone that I was a piece of trash for saying that, and that Mum and Dad treated us all equally, but I was just a damn narcissist who can't think about anyone but myself. I tried to talk, but my emotions got the better of him, and I started breaking down on the phone, and he hung up on me. I even started asking myself if I was really the narcissist that my family seemed to think of me. But my husband came to the rescue and helped me through all of this, but the doubt that maybe I was in the wrong still lingered in my head. I guess my brother told my parents that I called him because Dad called about 2 days after that and asked me to meet up at their house. I was about to say no, but I couldn't because his voice was filled with remorse, so I thought that maybe, just maybe, we could get past the whole thing and I could drop the thought of cutting contact even if my mum doesn't want to help out. After like 3 days of talking to my dad, my husband and I went to their house to talk. I thought that it was going to be me, my husband, and my parents talking, but they invited my brother and his wife. As soon as we sat, my dad started talking about how disappointed he was with me and that things shouldn't have led to this. I told him that he was right, that things should not have escalated to be where they are now, but I assumed that since Mum helped take care of my sister and my brother's wife, she would do the same for me. But she just favored everyone else above me, and it was infuriating. I told them about how I felt for the past years, and I told them everything that I said to you guys. But all of them acted like they didn't care, which honestly hurt like hell. I knew at that moment that I didn't mean anything to them, so why was I fighting to be a part of a family that didn't want me? My husband was going to speak, but I told him not to. Everyone gave their opinions about it, basically blaming me, and then Dad asked me if I wanted to say anything to Mum. I told her that I was sorry because I didn't want any type of bad blood between us before I close this chapter and move on with my life, but she didn't say anything back, and Dad said that we needed some time cooling off and setting some boundaries. And I guess that was it between us. In the next 2 weeks, we were packing and leaving the state. I didn't tell anyone about where my new house will be. Only once I got there and settled down did I write a long message about everything they did and how I felt, and at the end of the message I told them that I was completely cutting contact with my parents and older brother. I changed my phone number and blocked all of my family from my social media, and you know what? My life has never been this peaceful in a long time. I am happy about everything, and my baby will arrive any day now. It is honestly stressing, but I love it so much. We hired a helper around the house because why not? Now my day consists of sleep, taking a walk, eat some more, have back and hip pains, and repeat, which honestly isn't that bad. Thank you for reading. In the comments, Maggie Stardust says, the other siblings will get in touch as soon as one of your parents needs someone to take care of them. Don't do it. Cold Gold says, I was the kid that was treated like OP in my family. It even involved weird rules that only applied to me. It sucked, but at least my siblings could see and acknowledge that it was a thing. When I decided that I had had enough and went very low contact with my dad in particular, it took a little over a week before my siblings started calling. It seems once he could not treat me like he had been, my father moved on to my siblings, and they could not handle being treated in the same way. Peter095837 says, cutting contact from those parents is the best option to stay away from conflict. It won't do anything good for OP's mental health and life. Best wishes for OP, her husband, and her child. Not just the parents. Obviously the brother has proven that he's a piece of shit too. I'm glad she's blocked all of them. Nothing to be gained from a family like that. The whole family, to be honest. Even the other siblings were heaping blame on her. But that whole dynamic falls apart when the designated scapegoat disappears or cuts contact. Methinks they'll either turn on one of the ones left or come crawling back, begging, screaming, threatening grandparents' rights or some bullshit to get her back on the boat, so to speak. And yeah, good on OP. You know, they always do some stupid shit like that. They always say, oh, grandparents' rights, we're gonna sue you for that. Go on then. I dare you. I double dare you. And OP, I triple dog dare you to write another update to this post once they come crawling out of the woodwork, because I would love that. But otherwise, you handled this situation fantastically, and I hope all is well with you and the baby. All the best going forward, and thank you for the story. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.